Commission meeting, monthly Park Commission meeting. And we call it to order with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Kazan, you teach me how to say your name right.
Kizron.
Kizron.
It's okay.
Anyway.
You were the exception.
So Kizron, you're here. I'm Pam Kelp, Don,
Moose.
Evelyn Tolles.
Evelyn,
Bill Westerhoff.
Bill. Now, did everyone get to read the agenda online?
Yes, I would like to make an amendment, please, and then I propose acceptance
Motion?
of the, yes, a motion to accept the agenda with the amendment. I would like the new business to be, first to add regarding the baseball fields. And I understand we had discussion in emails, but I would just like the discussion also to be public as well. Yes, please.
To add discussions on softball fields, what went on?
Excuse me, yes, softball fields, thank you.
In their baseball.
And baseball?
Many.
Yeah. Well, all the fields.
Yeah.
Any fields that we are, yeah.
Yeah, the
Softball
problem,
fields, I
we
guess.
only had the softball team,
Okay.
but the guy controlled a lot of,
Right.
So
right.
anyway.
So do we have a second?
I'll
Yes.
second that.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
Discussion to add softball problem. And
To
what
new
was the other
business.
one?
Oh, that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank
All
you.
right, we will add the softball problem to the discussion level. So everybody else is approving the agenda?
Aye.
Yeah, I
All in
second
favor?
it, yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
This is your agenda.
Oh, yes, yes, thank you.
Did everybody get a chance to approve the minute, read your minutes from the last meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a
I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I did not get the finance on my emails at all. So this is the
Oh.
first time I'm looking at it.
So the softball gentleman, Leon,
Should we go to guest speaker? There's no guest speaker, there's no
no,
public
I was
comment.
going to comment on that. He had said that.
Do you want to comment when we, sorry, I'm sorry, I don't mean to. Do you want to comment when we come back, when we come to new business, 12?
No, we'll just insert it now.
Oh, you'd like, oh, okay.
When we're looking at the minutes, or the guest speakers, we would have had somebody who was representing several softball teams. That would have been coming. He was more than willing. But because the fields were obviously told by us, by Cindy, that they weren't usable,
The township manager,
yeah. So,
right.
I hope he will come back another time, but it won't be this season because it's going to be starting up pretty soon, so.
Did he agree that it couldn't be put into shape by the
I don't think so, I
2025
think we
year?
can. We can have discussions with him to see if,
I
think
guess,
we
was there
could,
any
but-
follow-up?
We're going to need to get Vern and the Board of Trustees to tell Cindy to tell Deanna to get that done fast.
I
Even
guess-
if we have to hire an outside firm.
I guess my concerns were, we had, these are teams that have played in the past, and they have done a phenomenal job in terms of even maintaining, dredging, and anything they needed to do in order to play. I understand they had come in the past, attended the meetings to request some help from even our township, our park manager. And, you know, our park manager was more than willing to also help out as much as she could with the limited staff we had at that time. So, and I understand in the past we also had issues in regards to the the play per team. There might have been some miscommunication. And then there was a pause during COVID. And now they're hoping to come back. And I would personally be very happy to have them come back, especially as local residents, and more than happy to. And then I guess my main concern was when we were discussing this in communications between the park manager, our board, as well as the township manager, one of the concerns that was raised was something about like drainage issues, but I'm very confused about that because if you guys recall, the park manager had been advocating in the past to move the dog park.
The dog park where it's flooded?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm very confused
I hear ya.
as
I
to
hope they hear ya.
why we are all of a sudden having flooding and these issues at these fields when the park manager was proposing to move the dog park there so that the residents wouldn't have any flooding issues to begin with. Whereas the township board, the Parks Commission, we are the ones who wanted to stay firm to keep the dog park where it currently is, and this was to support the views of our current residents who like the location as well as the visibility right off the road. So I guess I'm coming back to, I guess this is like a backstory, but I guess I'm coming back to the fields, why they're not playable and why they have not been maintained thus far. I was hoping the park manager or the township manager would be attending the meeting so we could ask them directly so that we can get this resolved and so that we can have players on the fields again. I would love to, support and have our student. Yeah, so I guess that's my main concern, and that was the reason why I wanted to bring this up in the minutes as well as on the agenda. So.
Well, I can answer part of that for you. Cindy had sent me an email saying we had received no specific directions to keep those fields in order. Now, I cannot communicate directly with the park manager. I have to go through Cindy. Mm-hmm. I have to do an email. I never get a phone call back. If I don't ask a specific question, I don't get an answer. And even when I ask a specific question, like I asked the other day, to get all of the background information on the big park, period. Who did the original engineering? Who issued the permits? Eagle was around a very long time ago. Where's all this information? That's been totally ignored. I intend to keep going back against her to try and get this information. But that should be here at the Township Hall. And it should be available for the Park Commission to review and see how this was set up, what were the original parameters, what were the original requirements, has anything really changed?
Real quick, a really good resource for people to read, like the 5-year master plan, like for the Parks and Rec, the old ones, like from the 90s, I think it was the 90s or early 2000s, which they're in the vault somewhere, but that's a really good source to get that information. Like, I mean, I don't know if it, like how detailed it is, but.
Right, but is that publicly available? You said a vault. Like,
Yep,
so you're
it's
saying
public.
the residents have to come up to the township hall to request that information? Like, it's not available online?
It's not available, no. But if you guys request it through Cindy,
I did request it.
okay.
That request I have not gotten a response to.
Okay.
She responded within the same email to 2 other questions I had. So one of them was, who owns River Park? Did we ever get that resolved? So now she says the township owns River Park.
Yep, that's been resolved as far as I'm aware.
That's fine, but why didn't they advise the Park Commission?
We've
We've been asking that.
It is a park.
Yeah, right.
It's a park.
Correct.
Right.
I have a question is, why do we have to worry about maintaining it when I listened to the gentleman who ran the baseball league for over 20 years? He informed me that the league took care of
That has
it.
been in the
Yes.
past.
So if the field, I mean, what do they gotta do? Mow it down and put some chalk down? I don't quite understand. If they're the ones who maintained it anyways,
Right.
not the Parks Commission, I don't see where we
Okay,
need,
so there's the
you know,
rest
like,
of the
there's some
story from the
questions.
gentleman, okay? that they left because of two things that happened. They got charged for the use of a pavilion that they never used. Then they got charged for parking, and they said that's the end of that story.
Yeah.
'Cause they were
Right.
doing all of the work.
Wild,
Yeah.
yeah.
They were doing all the work on the fields.
Right.
Now, all these people are older and they want more considerations. So he was offering me, to offer the park commission, various pricing scenarios. He already had done a couple, but he was already set to say, look, if we pay this, you do that. Will you do this? Will you do that? And I know that we don't have that many employees. Now, she just sent an email today saying that she will have 2
Right.
full-time and 2 part-time for the park. And I do not know what that means as far as maintenance or everything else, because of course I cannot talk to Deanna directly. So, and Cindy doesn't answer many things. So these are all question marks as to what we can get done on anything. And here they are raising and repairing concrete. Well, that's supposed to have been run by us.
Yeah,
because-
I didn't realize that was part of our 25. We've already said
Plan,
where our money
right.
was allotted for this year. That's why I was questioning that. I noticed neither one's here tonight
Yes.
to answer those questions.
Really quick, and so the thing that I wanted to say, if you guys request me tonight, the only problem is our next meeting's the 7th of April, so it's kind of a little far off, but I was gonna say, if you guys would be willing to meet before that meeting, like 6 o'clock, we have a workshop together, and then also putting on the agenda to fix up the fields so that we can, but I mean,
Why
so
Well,
that the
here's
township
why-
will cover the cost of it.
So you're going to go on the record saying the township is going to cover the
No,
cost?
no,
that's not-
I'm saying it has to be discussed at the board. I'm only one person. I'm not
Right.
speaking on behalf of the board, but I
Right.
mean,
My only concerns are, we tried having a joint meeting, and that went haywire.
well, that was,
It was a
while
very,
ago.
very contentious,
Yeah.
and due to which we had 2 chairpersons quit, and it's not.
well, I think
you
part
know,
of the
it's-
problem was,
So-
well, during the meeting, it was kind of a free-for-all. I think there needs to be probably either Vern or Pam or both, well, probably not both, but one person needs to be in charge so that you don't have 10 people talking at once, which is what was going on, which,
But there wasn't really a discussion. though.
Correct.
It
There
was
wasn't really an
more of a
agenda either.
Heated. So, okay, going back to what you're saying, are you suggesting that we have a joint meeting right before the township meeting?
Correct.
To discuss, so what's going to be on the potential agenda for this? Are we
the
also discussing?
the
Okay.
baseball fields, and I would say I guess, just the communication overall with the park commission.
How about
Well, how
overall
about
running?
township manager, not park commission? Because the park commission is doing a phenomenal job, or at least I believe so. We're doing a great job
Right.
keeping, communicating with each other. We're having issues with the township manager, and then
Just the
thereby the park manager discussions.
You're right, the communication, just period, just, I
Yes.
guess, just,
But there's also the work that's being done without
Exactly, our knowledge.
knowledge, authorization,
Right, right.
whatever. I mean.
It's being bypassed past
Yes.
the
Right.
commission. I don't know why we
what I
had
would,
to- yeah.
what I would suggest is potentially, I mean, from their perspective, like getting a weekly update to you guys maybe, that would be better, so that not every month, like, hey, we did this.
I've
you
already
know.
asked for that
Yeah,
many times.
we-
I know,
You know, and so we are not getting the information we need to run the park. I could go over there and go through that park and make my own list. But I shouldn't have to do that. That's the park manager.
Exactly.
And she's got years' worth of experience and knowledge, and she's very good.
right,
So we
She
should
is
be
phenomenal.
able to
She
have
is.
open communication, not
Yes.
through Cindy,
Yes,
but directly with her, so that if she says something
Yep.
that's a little off what we were discussing, then something else comes up, like usually happens.
Yep.
And that's how we understand where, more and more problems might be developing, or
Right.
what's been fixed, what hasn't, what needs.
Right.
not
No,
that I
I-
want to discount the job that the township manager is doing. She's very helpful, and she does gear us towards the right,
Avenues.
give us, yeah. I'm not saying that. It's just there needs to be more of an open communication. She needs to be more transparent, let's say that, transparent. And we shouldn't have to rely on a third party to have discussions with technically our employee, well, not our
And we
employee, there have been
shouldn't-
changes, but we should have discussions with our park manager
Right.
as we used to, like, it's kind of
Yes,
getting
as
very.
well
get-
as
yeah.
we should not have to hear after the fact
Mm-hmm.
what's being done. It should all still be run through the
I
park
think a
commission.
workshop's a good idea.
Yes.
I mean, because then maybe between the township manager and the board of trustees and the parks commission, we can sit down and say, why can't we get this together? Isn't that what we're supposed to
Right,
be doing?
right.
No, we're trying to, and it seems like every time we do something, somebody shuts the door on us.
Right.
Which
But
makes it look like we're
I
not
think
doing anything.
Part of the problem is, like, you have people pointing fingers one way or the other.
Uh-huh.
And if everybody's in the room, you can't do that.
Right.
There needs to be accountability. And,
But it needs to come out in the open.
yeah,
I mean.
You know,
I
because,
end
yeah,
up-
we were working on this, we get the leagues to come back, and now we're told no until 2026.
what, who said that?
It was in an email.
I didn't see
Township
that.
It was in
Oh,
a
oh,
town,
oh,
it was in an
Right.
email.
Okay.
So we've
And some
already
of the
been
things-
shot down before we get, you know, it's like, wait.
Before any discussion, and
When-
that was just
now-
through emails.
Excuse my ignorance, but when does their league, like, start?
Usually baseball starts around April or
April,
May.
May.
The leagues usually start in June.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
the ones I've played in the past,
Right.
Okay.
usually in June.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't looked at those fields, and I have some experience dealing with fields, but since they played there just a couple of years ago, it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like it would take too much to get them ready to
Exactly.
go.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so.
I don't see
guess-
why not.
And I do have a question, you know, because I talked to the gentleman too a few months ago about this,
Mm-hmm.
and even before I was a part of this commission, but he mentioned the fees as well. Where do
Right.
those fees originate, and who's in charge of,
Well,
We are-
technically, they originate here.
Yes. yeah,
okay.
And he was telling me all the differences over the years.
Yeah.
But we have to weigh the consideration of bringing activity back to our parks,
Yes.
which means more people, which
Right.
means we would eventually get more pavilion rentals and more revenue from other things. So we need to rethink a lot of our fees on things.
And I'm more than happy to, and even give them a loyalty discount if
Well, yeah,
if need
I mean,
be.
you know, but
You know,
it's-
Yeah, it just sounded like Greed got in there, and I mean,
Yes.
charging for parking,
Yeah.
that I
That
talked
I-
through the old commission and found
Yeah.
out there was, yeah.
But see, I was there on the old
Yeah, well,
list,
where
and
were
I
you?
don't remember. That's the thing. I don't remember like us charging for parking, which is really
No, that's the whole point, yeah.
That's so I don't
And
understand
making
what
it
this
mandatory that they have a
miscommunication.
pavilion when they don't
Yeah.
even use it?
Well, the pavilion, I think it was because they were being used, and I think they were being ransacked a little, or
But not
possibly
necessarily by them.
I don't. It may not have been by them. It could have been some other teams
It was
or
the soccer
something.
teams.
Well,
Yes.
those
So
are
I
your
think we
reasons why
were-
they left.
Yes. So
Those
I
are your
think
reasons.
We can definitely, yeah.
It's
have
a
discussion.
shame to see those fields vacant all
Yes.
summer. When
Yeah.
you look at what they used to be,
I
what used to
agree.
go on out there, men's
Yes.
and women's.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's just a shame.
Yeah.
And soccer?
Yeah.
You know,
It's
that's
like
what we
people are
wanna do. We
moving
want-
everyone out of the park.
We
Yeah.
want to bring, you know, teams back on a level where they're comfortable with pricing and the amenities or whatever. If we don't offer, what can we, you know, allow you to do? If you're, you know, if you're gonna do all the work, then how much can we charge you? Why should we charge you a lot? You're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't charge us. They're the ones maintaining everything. They're the ones who
Yeah.
purchased the equipment, and I don't know where that equipment is, and I don't know who's gonna give a good reason.
Well, supposedly,
In the shed.
several years ago, Deanna said they stored equipment in the sheds.
Shed, yeah.
But I queried Cindy not too long ago, and she said, no, we don't store outside equipment. So who am I to believe?
Yeah.
Well, they were.
And I've
That
already
is-
caught
that they
her in
earned
incorrect
and they
statements other times,
purchased.
so-
So where is that stuff?
Yep, what happened?
It was in the shed. I do remember that part. They were stored
Right,
in
but
the
where
shed.
is it now?
Now? Good question. I'm not sure.
So
Yeah,
we
we
need to
need a
have somebody
workshop.
go do a physical inspection
Yeah, we
for
need
the
a
park
workshop,
commission.
so.
The only thing is, I would love to attend the workshop, and I am unavailable before the meeting. Can we do it after the meeting? After the
The only
township
problem is, I don't know what time the meeting will end. It's like, it could be a half hour, it could be an hour, it could be 45 minutes. And
So what's,
for the
what's
Open
their
Meetings Act.
availability for us to have that meeting?
What's that?
Can you give us, I mean, I
could-
guess I don't have to attend the meeting.
Well, either
I
that or
would
we
like
can make it
to.
another date.
Can we
Yep.
do another date, please?
Yep,
Yes.
we could.
You meet twice a month.
But when,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Well, but
the timeline to get it
Correct.
I know, it's-
resolved
You wanna kinda-
and done, if
Yes.
it works on a positive.
I agree.
Well, you meet on a Monday usually, right? We meet on a Wednesday.
We
even if
can
it
meet
were the-
before our meeting.
Can't you come to our
That's what I'm
meeting?
saying, maybe if it's the right week, you know, I don't know what their schedule is.
Getting
the only
sassy.
problem, your guys' meeting is the same night as the Marine City Fire Authority, so the supervisor would not be able to.
Oh, yeah.
Can we meet April 14th, excuse me?
If they're down.
14th?
Yes,
Well, that's a
it's a
Friday.
Monday.
Or, oh, I'm looking at this month, I'm sorry.
Instead of
I
7,
I can ask the Board of Trustees to see,
or we can meet right before their meeting on the 21st.
Wait. I mean, that's asking a lot to have two groups of people try to meet.
right?
Is it possible to ask more and to have the workshop after your meeting? Is that, so that all the Parks Commission can be here?
Yes.
So we would have to set an actual time, because it has to be posted for the Open Meetings Act. So we could set it for 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I'd prefer not to.
7:15?
Well, no, it'd have to be
8:30,
8
we
o'clock.
can do 8:30.
No.
'Cause I
we
mean,
can't.
our meeting's at
That's not
7.
acceptable to me.
Oh, yeah.
So that-
Yeah.
It's not acceptable to me.
Oh, okay.
Usually our meetings are like a half hour, usually, but.
We
Well, it
can, so
depends.
we don't need to set a set time, we can just say.
No,
Well,
we
it has
do
to
have
be, it
to.
has to be a
Oh,
set
it
time.
does? It
Yeah,
can't
it's
say
gotta be
following-
public.
So it can't say following the township meeting?
No,
No.
no, it has to be a set time. So I
And
would
could we
say,
say 8 o'clock?
Yeah, 8
and
o'clock's
again, I'm
too
gonna have to
late.
ask the Board of Trustees, but,
I know, sorry.
no, you're
You're in the
good.
middle of this. John,
But
what do you
I can ask about
Or
that.
do it early? Do you have a thought?
Well, let us know as to availability
I'd
and
like to see
timing.
everyone here.
And different
I would too.
days if possible,
If
please.
that's
What's that,
possible.
different
Different
days
days for
potentially?
the majority, especially,
What
Mr.
we
Wright.
could potentially do is just ask everybody, like have either the township manager or supervisor say who is available X dates and then times.
Is
and
there
then-
some other way, I'm sorry, Alan.
Go ahead.
Is there another way to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish without doing a workshop? Because it's starting to sound, because I'm more concerned with trying to get this softball. If we
Right.
could pull this off for this year,
I mean,
then let's do so.
I could bring it up at the next meeting if you guys, if that's what you guys want, which it sounds like you guys are all kind of on board with.
Well, I have
You
to call
want-
the guy back. I need to know that we can get it done.
Right.
Well, can you let them know that we're working on it
Well,
still?
I'll call him back and ask him if he's
For whatever
still,
that's worth.
because they were looking at other.
Yeah, that's a
you know,
good
there were
idea, 'cause I
7
mean, if they're
other
not even
parks that
interested,
they were
then-
looking at.
They're interested.
Right, okay.
They're interested.
But I mean, even
They
with-
just don't want to sit around and wait and then at the last minute not be able to have,
Correct.
to play. I
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
their point too.
Yeah, but he's got
Yep.
7 other parks that they were looking at, so
I
I
know.
need to just contact him, see, what's your current status? Are you still open to the
go.
possibility? And how soon do you need it?
Yeah.
And then we have to sit down and think, because, you know, how much would we charge? And I get the feeling they don't want to do all the work again.
Right.
well,
So-
I don't know, I feel
Well,
like,
let's see what he
No,
does.
when he
is
was
willing
talking
to
about, a lot of the players are now older or whatever. So they don't want to necessarily have to do the physical work they've done before.
Well, why don't you open up a line, why don't we do this? You open up a line of communication with him again and
Yep.
see what he wants.
Yeah.
See
Yeah,
what-
well,
see what
just
he can-
ask if
see
he's
what he can
still-
do and see where we can go with
If you
this,
guys can
'cause,
do that
Well, it
tonight or
depends.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
you know, let's
and
start
then
there.
at some point, then I can email Vern, Cindy, whatever, and then at that point get so I mean, so we don't have to have a workshop. and then- At least for that.
So we can
but-
use you as a point of contact, that way there's not emails going everywhere from.
Right.
I don't know, I feel like we still need a workshop, but maybe not
For the
regarding
communication
this,
piece of it?
Right.
but the communication, that
I
is
agree.
very,
Yeah.
it's not really urgent, but it's emergent.
Yeah, it's
Type of,
Yeah.
well,
I thought that we should have a couple more anyways.
my
so-
other
Yeah. I
question
agree.
was, are you guys meeting March 24th?
No. No, our last meeting was, for this month was last
17th.
Monday, yeah.
This
Yep.
last month?
Yep.
It's the second and fourth.
Second and third.
3rd.
Yep.
Well, let me contact the gentleman for tomorrow,
Okay.
as soon as he returns my call, and I'll ask him what his status, have you made a commitment, are you still open, what's, what do we need to do, what are you really, he had already sent me a list of some things. It wasn't finalized, but, we have to be prepared to give a lot of leeway, because that made the township look so bad.
Yeah, but well, and I agree. It's like a ghost town in there now. It's like when I was a kid, I lived there, and it was like full all the time. So
I like to see that change as well.
Yeah.
So it sounds like everyone is on the
Yeah.
same page with the softball, so.
yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Alan.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
So, we don't have any other public to comment, to my knowledge. Are there ghosts available? Did everybody read the financial reports? Approval of bills.
I'm just looking at them now.
You will notice one new thing on one of the financial sheets. The cash and investment accounts, it's called MI class, some $40,000. The township opened a new investment class or something like that, when they spread out the funds proportionately, and this is that class. And I'm like, what was that,
Making a lot more interest.
So our money market account is the same, there's a percentage of it got split off into a new, fund, which is gonna pay better interest.
Where is that?
That's why I see a second line, that's all.
I didn't.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see anything too extraordinary, given the season and everything else, so,
I'll make a motion then for the financial report to approve it.
I'll second that.
Okay, this is going to be roll call. Chairperson?
here.
Just approval for the financial report. Okay. Vice Chair?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Secretary, yes. And you are technically our treasurer.
Yes.
And then Mr. Westerhoff?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All in
carried.
favor, aye.
Aye.
So we kind of did that before, but whatever. Communications, I think we just got those. Anybody else got anything on communications level? The township manager sent a very short
There's
summary.
more. There is another discussion I would like to have in
Okay.
regards to the communication. There is a memo stating that the township funds cannot be expended for a memorial plaque for the bench. So I'm confused as to what changed.
Well,
Again.
I would like to know where that came from. Okay, the park commission is given a budget under state law. We are the ones who are allowed to use our budget. The state law hasn't changed.
Right, but I believe the township manager stated that
She
the
did.
township would be covering the cost. Now, I feel like it's,
The cost
am I
of
reading this right?
the cost of the bench, I believe, not the actual plaque. Which I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
that's what I
recall.
wanted.
I don't recall off the top of my head what the plaque was supposed to
She
say.
was talking about $75.
No,
no,
I know, but I don't remember what it was supposed to say.
Plaque was
What was
going
it
to
supposed to say?
Well, I think we generally agreed on a general
It was,
statement,
it was a vague general
Yes.
statement.
that it wasn't going to be individual names.
Yeah.
Just for the
But the
past.
point
In
of view
memory of
is,
the park commissioners. or
Yes.
something.
why
But
is,
yeah, I don't understand that either. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
This
guess
is
we kind of
again-
need the township manager here for that.
So you
To
don't know
clarify-
who made that
I
decision?
will-
Clarify.
actually, we need Vern here
According
for
to what
that,
I've read.
because reality is,
I'm
She
asking
should
him who
not
made
be.
that decision. I'm asking him who made that decision right now.
Are you talking about number 3 under the communication
Yes.
memo? So, yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know.
again, I'm gonna refer you back to, that once you give us the budget, according to state law, township
I don't
Parks
know-
and Recreation Act.
right.
References the state law and inclusive it. So we're still back to the point that that law says, once we are given our budget, it is up to us to use it.
The only thing I'm thinking, because we get like a magazine from the MTA every month, and one of the things that I read like probably a couple months ago, but just as an example, they used to like donate to, I can't remember what they were, if it was something to do with the school, but it was like senior all night party or something. I don't know. I don't remember. Don't quote me, but it was like $100. They would get, well, that's not allowed anymore. There's certain things that are not allowed, but what I don't understand, like the
I
rock
know.
that's out in front of here, like it says in memory of, I think, Vietnam veterans or something like that.
Right.
I mean, I don't
I
know.
mean, who says it's not allowed anymore? By whom? The state?
I don't know.
It has to be the state.
Right. I don't
If I
know.
call
guess
the
we
Attorney
can
General's
just-
office for clarification, they're going to get interested in a lot of things.
But I'll get to the bottom of that too. I'll ask about
And
that.
that
Thank
references,
you.
again, the ability to use our budget.
Right.
Do you
But
need to see
also
all
like
these-
the communication part. So thank you very
Yep,
much.
yep.
The other thing I would like to bring
Wait a minute.
to attention. Oh,
Do you need to see all these questions in an email for
No,
reference?
no, I'll get them.
Okay.
I got the baseball field stuff, which I'm gonna kind of wait till I hear back from you what Mr. Deneen says, and
I
then,
will try to
Okay.
get to the gentleman and have him respond to me as quickly as possible.
yeah, and then I'll ask who confirmed that it can't be used. I don't know if she talked to the attorney or what. I have no
Need to
idea.
know, because even an attorney, if that's just his opinion, how do you refer to state law that way? Where
Right.
does it
Right.
come in state law?
Right.
That you can say that?
Right,
I want to see the actual terminology.
right. I got you.
So, as far as I'm concerned, we can pay for that plaque.
I would assume so, but I'm not
Okay, we'll wait to,
Yeah.
that's going to be one of the questions, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then you were going to say more?
yes. I guess this was also in reference to our discussion and the workshop that was also part of this communications memo in terms of the township managers working with the parks manager to raise and repair concrete as needed within all parks. That's also a concern. This was not brought forth to us as the Parks Commission. So
Are you talking
just-
about the second page?
It's still the first page of the communications memo.
okay.
It's number 1. So I guess, it's just.
Oh, okay.
Just
gotcha.
concerns. We are being bypassed.
Again,
So we are, yeah.
So what
it's-
part of the budget do we take it from then?
Yeah, like we're just, this
well,
is
the
just.
township pays for part of some of this stuff. But still, the idea is the parks.
Yeah, like we should have been approved or at least had discussions with us
Yes.
before.
And we should have it on all of it.
Right.
I mean, the park manager knows what she automatically needs to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
We should be getting queries and reports directly from her.
And I don't know if this is stuff that was planned on being taken out, because I mean, like these costs are way above your actual annual budget. So it's like, I think that, I'm
That's that
assuming
River
maybe it's,
Park thing.
I'm assuming it might be a township thing.
Excuse me.
But don't quote me on that, but that's what I'm assuming. I don't know.
Well, see,
sure.
that's, again,
We don't know, right?
Right. Yep.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
and this is, again, a reference to, this design and everything was done with, I know we approved a general design last year on River Park. When we're seeing the details, Don, you mentioned gas fireplaces?
It looks like it's been pretty much completed without us having any say-so in it
Right.
whatsoever.
And it was
What's that? I'm
It
sorry.
looks like it's been completed. The whole detailed
Without-
plan has been completed without any input from the Parks Commission
And
whatsoever.
it was on, and the funny thing
And
is,
it is a park.
yeah, and
Right,
it was on
right.
I know
our
you're in a
5-year
difficult
plan.
situation here,
Right.
but I'm just curious as to how that happened and how do we stop that from happening
Yep.
again? Because certainly we want to be involved in everything.
Right. Right.
It is park and we're supposed to be.
Yep.
And it was part of our 5-year plan. So this is so confusing as to how we are, there was
Yeah,
nothing.
it's like,
We're
yeah,
fighting
where do
a
we go
battle
from
with,
here? So, I mean, it's-
somebody who's not visible, but it's,
Well,
Which
it's
is-
happening.
Common
We're
sense
getting-
tells you we got a problem.
We're getting information once a month, after the fact many times, when we need to be before the fact.
Yep.
And told, what's going on, what's causing this, why are we repairing it, what happened to the concrete? Okay, do we need to forward think on that down the road? That's it's a simple question, but it makes
Right.
sense.
Right.
Okay, and that's just one of many. And of course, the River Park, as you said, done.
Well, the repairs, getting back to the concrete repairs in and of themselves, those are in the parks. So, where's that coming from? Where's the budget for that coming from? Is it coming from
So-
Parks Commission budget?
Definitely not.
Forgive me, because
It's
this
not.
memo, I literally read the first page at home, like by
Okay.
email. I printed it
Yeah.
all out, but, so this is for, okay, never mind. That's for the main park, I believe. But because I asked for an update, I believe, not the last meeting, but the meeting before about the river park. And so it was confirmed that the river park does belong to the township. As you know, it was kind of a contentious thing, but then now they're in the process of going through with the engineer to get everything all prepped up and ready to go. So it's a go basically, but,
Exactly, like we
Well,
are,
it's supposed to be worked on this year.
yep,
Again, they're applying for grants. They're not taking any park commission member with them. They're going to the meetings alone. The information we don't see ahead of time that they're presenting. We don't know exactly what they're presenting many times. I know she said that they're going to be meeting again with the funding people, because I keep raising the concern that we have that $47,000 quote-unquote reimbursement grant. That's a lot of money.
yeah,
Okay, so we want to be able to get things done in the park. Specifically, one of the goals this year was the dog parks. And we need to know what is going on with this stuff.
right,
But we never learn about it unless I ask specifically, and even then I don't get all answers many times. So my current one is Wade Trim is supposed to contact me. Did they do their survey of the park yet? And supposedly under the new Eagle requirements, that they have to do that. So that's the reason I want to see the original. The 5-year plans are nice, but they don't give the details of the original.
correct, yeah,
At the assessors meeting the other day, we were looking at an inspection. That's the kind of thing I want to see. Eagle's been around a long time. Any requirements they would have had. Anything, how did that park over there get approved if they had problems and it was a floodplain? And what mitigations were supposed to have been taken, if there were? These are all open-ended and it's contributing to current factors and current problems. And yes, the drainage problem over by the softball fields, you've seen the river that runs through there when it rains heavily. It's not just the dog park, there's a river.
Bell
that
River
runs through
backs
it.
up. Bell River.
Yep.
So,
So, there's so many questions
Bless you.
but information we need to be able for everybody to sit and determine, okay, what are we actually dealing with? What is going to be able to get done? Wade Trim needs to call me and say, what the heck is, have they done the survey? If you did, why haven't I seen it? And how are you going to do it? When? We need to start work on this dog park.
yep,
And I'm not gonna violate Eagle, If I have to, I'll call him direct again. I know Vern said work through Dwayne, but no communications, no communication.
Dwayne is pretty good at getting back. Like he gets back. Bless you. He like one night, it was like probably this late one night, he wasn't even at work and he emailed me right back. It's like, which he didn't have to, but he's very
And
good.
he's been, very decent that way, but I still
Yeah.
need for him, if it's to go through him, to go rock the boat, say, people, it's timing.
Right,
It's coming spring. People want to know what we're gonna get done and how, and we need to get an outside firm to do it, because I don't think you got enough DPW. You haven't even started on your own building yet, and they said they were gonna build it last year.
yep.
The tennis courts are still there for
It was supposed to be built 2 years ago, but yeah.
Well, okay,
You're
so
right.
why aren't you doing that and you're paying $9,000 to paint a room
right,
and put it new landscaping.
Right.
Isn't the DPW more important? So, there's a lot of question marks, but referring to the parks, we need the information.
yep,
And I need it from day one, so we can take a look and see what we're really dealing with.
yep.
Is it just the dog park? Is there some other thing that we need to be concerned about, So, anyway, that's all your joy.
I got my list, my marching orders.
Okay, make sure you keep your hair color at hand. Anybody else?
Nope.
So the park manager's report was short and sweet. Here's another thing, Parks Appreciation Day, planning in progress. We know nada. Okay? Why aren't we involved in Parks Appreciation Day? It's
I did my exercise today.
all right.
So, I think it was talked about at the last meeting, but
It was brushed over.
What?
It was brushed over.
Yeah, but
I mean, given like the basics, we don't know any.
I think by next month, because it's in May, right? May, I believe.
Says
Oh, yeah,
nothing
it's
about a
supposed to
date.
be in May. But probably at the next meeting, they'll probably have something, hopefully, that we can push out to the public, let them know what's going on, and then,
What about the Parks Commission?
well, no, yeah,
I
like,
think that's what he.
I mean, like,
They'll bring
you
Planning
guys can be
Commission.
involved at that point,
Planning
like,
in progress again. Do any of you feel like it's a burden to be involved in a Parks Appreciation Day planning?
Kind of thought, yeah, no? I'm sure they're working on a timeline, and they're
Yeah.
they have to go through their
Hopefully,
channels too, so.
yeah.
Well, timelines are fine, but, whatever. So I don't see anything else, other than planning spring projects, again.
Pam, real quick, I'm sorry. Like, what do you want? What do you just want to know what's going on? Like,
I want to know what's going on and what you're trying to accomplish, and should we be involved?
okay,
And I think we should be. It's parks.
right. Like last year, I mean, just to give you an idea, like last year, it was pretty cool. I sweat my butt off there, but they had they had a bunch of like mulch. They brought mulch and stuff, and volunteers came and they were bringing wheelbarrows around and like throwing mulch down on the trails. And then there was snacks, there was like trees and stuff like that people could get.
I thought
It
you
was
said
free
it was
for
gonna be
residents.
pretty much the same this year.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah,
So
thi-
let us know.
okay,
Hopefully,
right.
I think the goal this year was to hopefully advertise in advance, because last year we had quite a few things left over.
Yeah.
Or not really left over. What's the phrase?
Well, it was just there wasn't
It
a
was
lot
just-
of people. It was
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
The turnout wasn't as great
Right.
as we would have wanted
Yep.
and liked, but yeah.
So I'll add that to my list.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
In regards to the park manager's report, there's also the power washing estimate.
Right. That was my next.
Yes.
Granted, I am not an expert on power washing,
Yeah.
but $10,750. Do we need to brighten the wood? I mean, literally, you're outdoors. It's going to be attacked by the weather every which way.
I want to ask the park manager, what have we done in the past?
Right.
Because I can't imagine this being the very first time we ever power washed, but I have looked back through some of the old ones and never found.
I don't remember.
I-
I don't.
I've been calling the
Yeah.
old commissioners and asking for old notes, because
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
this is, granted, there's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
I'm not debating that part, but I'm thinking that's a big portion that I don't ever remember from
No.
the 2 years that I've been here. So what did she do in the past? Did she do it
Well, I know we've done
herself?
power washing in the past, and I know we've stained some fridges and things like that.
Why are we
but-
going,
How much of this is truly necessary?
And like, shouldn't we have bid this out?
that's exactly my
So I
second
think
question.
this is going-
If we're going to make it public, then why aren't we
Right.
bidding this out?
I think that
Yeah.
this is just an estimate, correct?
I
Or
have
no?
no idea.
When,
Because it says estimate, I'm assuming it's just an estimate. It's not It hasn't been done yet, I don't
No, it
think.
hasn't been.
So that's certainly something that, I mean, like I work at Menards, and so it's like, you know, I work in the paint department too, so it's like, it does seem pretty high. Like there's,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about how you get water out there, like for power washing, but like,
That's what I wonder, are they bringing
Yeah.
their own water?
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like,
we have,
I don't know.
they can open the water lines. So it's not like we have no water in the park.
Right.
And, you know, the buildings aren't that far apart. So,
well, I mean, there might be a need for this, I don't know,
Right.
but
Right.
I was a little surprised to see this 11,000.
Yes.
Just like, oh, okay, to wash cement.
Yeah, you definitely don't want the wood to rot, but it's like at the same
Right.
time,
yeah.
it's,
What would? I thought our pavilion is
well,
The
Like
pavilions are somewhat
cement.
wood.
somewhat wood?
Yeah,
Okay.
Cement? No? Oh.
but you've got, think of the buildings in the park, it's the pavilions.
right.
You've got sheds. I don't know if they're wood or not, but soccer bathrooms, they're saying, need
And like-
washing.
Yeah.
Sled
The
garage, soccer
tennis
garage.
court.
That's what I was like, tennis
I was
courts?
what?
I was like, what? Like,
Yeah, that one was a big one.
almost 2,500 for tennis
Yeah,
courts?
$2,200.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't
think,
realize it looked so bad.
You know, maybe what we should be saying is that we need further explanations, and we're not happy with the pricing, and we want to know why you were doing all of the different ones you're doing, you know.
I mean, this was an estimate as
I know, but it
Mr.
covers.
Right.
Alan brought up, so I,
Well, it was done in October of '24, if you notice the date,
Yeah.
October 22nd.
Which
And I'm
means
thinking,
that
but
they'll
we
probably
just
be
now heard
charging more now.
about it. Yeah.
oh.
Okay, so we
Uh-huh.
want to wash the concrete sidewalks, really?
Whatever. There's nobody here to answer these questions, so we should just move along.
Okay.
So anyway, we are not
Convenient.
going
We're
to approve
requesting the park
estimate for the time
managers, no, we're just requesting park managers, further input.
being. Okay, questioning further info, and if it's going to be bid out, and we need to know the reasoning for each and every one of these.
Or at least most of them,
Pardon?
most of them.
And current estimate.
Yes, thank you.
Don, do you have anything to add?
No, you guys covered it.
How about you, Bill?
No, being new, I was questioning it too, if this is something that's done annually or,
Well, I know that in the
Biannually.
past, she has done some of the things.
Yeah.
okay.
She
I-
personally?
The bridges particularly, which I can understand, and being sealed, we want to keep those structurally sound.
Right.
I'm not so sure about the soccer
But we
shack, you know.
haven't.
We don't even have soccer teams playing anymore. If you look at all of them,
Yeah,
you're
we've never
going,
seen it
okay,
like this before.
Okay.
we're
Never
washing
public.
sidewalks outside the bathroom, why? You know, they're saying wash and clean surfaces, pre-soak, apply, what is SH treatment? You know.
What
one
page are you
service-
on?
Pardon?
What page are you on?
They're on every one of the pavilion, every one when you read it. My favorite
Oh, I
is,
got you.
hit edges with turbo nozzles.
You know, come on.
How
give me
much
a
do you
break.
charge for that?
What happened to plain soap and water?
Yeah, well, I mean, just,
Well,
it looks good on paper.
power,
Anyway, so we want further information and request that nothing gets done until we can approve the whole thing.
Or at least have more than one estimate.
Well,
Right.
Yeah, and that's like you said from
the
October.
bidding, that's
Yep.
what.
So we
It
need
just doesn't-
updated,
To me, if I only see one estimate, it seems like
yeah.
that process has already been covered.
So, I mean, we
And
don't,
I don't see how that's possible, so,
Right.
I mean, should be public bid, I believe, but I mean,
actually, over 10,000 is supposed to be, so. But I don't see why it shouldn't
at
be
least get a
spent.
few estimates, more than one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know where we're supposed to, how we're supposed to communicate that. Is that another one for you, buddy?
Potentially, yeah. Potentially, Dwayne, I can't remember what it's called. It's M something. It's like a public bidding thing where you put it on it's like a Michigan website, but I mean, you can,
Bid auction.
right. But I mean, even going out to local people and kind of saying, hey,
And it should be.
yeah. But I mean, this person's local, but I mean, other local people too, but.
I'm
Yeah.
familiar with the bid process,
Oh, no, right.
even the government bid process, so I'm very familiar with this,
Yep.
and that's why I'm questioning it.
Right,
Just-
yeah.
That's
So
all.
nothing else on the park manager's report to be questioned? I think we've heard the township liaison's report, have we?
Nope.
I
There was one thing that you guys, we already talked about, about the potentially having another joint session, so that, I'll just leave that be for now. The website is gonna be revamped and be more user-friendly. We voted on that on Monday, and then also, we had, at the last meeting, I mentioned about the mission, vision, values, goals, workshop that we were having or whatever. We finally wrapped it up, and the statement and everything's forthcoming. The lady that came from the MTA, she is writing it up currently. So, and the parks were a large part of that discussion. So, like, you guys are in the mission, vision, and there's a few goals too,
So why weren't we part of it?
Well,
Yeah, well, because it's the board of
It's at a higher
trustees.
level.
yeah.
Well, not necessarily, but I
I'm
mean,
okay with that. We should have more support if that is the case. We
like
should
one
have
of the
more
things
township.
one of the things that we discussed was the Parks and Rec master plan, like making sure that we're following it more, because we've kind of at times fallen by the wayside on that, and so we're
I
gonna,
mean, we need communication with that, which, you did mention
Yep.
at the workshop, so thank you.
yep,
But see, if you read the master plan, it references recreation all over the joint.
yep.
And Werner said recreation is not a priority and is not being done anything about. So how can you say that plan's being followed?
I didn't say it's being followed. I'm just saying, our goal is to follow it more,
So you have to get recreation back in.
right? Part of the thing too is people, like residents, hopefully we can get more people involved. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people my age that have kids and stuff like that, and they want to get more active and involved. So it's like, I hope that we can get more people involved and communicate with the community. That's part of the problem, I think, too. We talked about that, so,
And the parks, it'd be
Yeah.
nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there any
Anything
questions,
else?
or, no, that was it.
Oh,
It's been pretty quiet for the most part.
I did have a question. You mentioned, sorry, what did you mention before the mission values? You were talking about something else. I'm sorry.
Oh, the website.
Yes.
Yep.
When does that go public?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
Probably within the next month or two.
Okay.
But the good news was we budgeted for like 15,000 for that. It ended up being $1,800. So
Whoa.
that was good news.
Nice. Okay.
So they're using basically the same template of our website, but making it like to where, if you watch the meeting, you'll see the difference. Like our website now is like ancient, and then that one, there's like buttons and stuff, and it's a lot more user-friendly on your phone. Like, I don't know if you ever went to the
Mobile,
website on your
okay.
phone, but it's really goofy. But this one's gonna be a lot better. Like you can click the phone button and you can call right from your phone rather
Oh.
than typing it in and all that stuff, so.
Oh, nice. And then in regards to that, I'm assuming the minutes and all those information will still be made available.
The
Because
minutes,
they used to be available. Are they not, or are they still being available?
the minutes of what?
The
Sorry.
meetings,
Oh, yeah, they're online.
they're still right? Okay.
Yep.
So no change in there.
No, and I think we will be posting don't quote me, but I think we will be posting our agenda packets too, so that
Okay.
people can see what we're
Oh.
voting on and all that stuff, so.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you. New business?
We already talked about that.
Yes, we did. Anything else? Just anybody?
Oh.
Okay, we're back to old business. We discussed the River Park status. Well, now we know it's at least owned by the township, which technically is owned, actually not by the township, but by the parks. So that's, you know, somewhere along the line, that's got to get straightened out in that understanding. But anyway, and then everything that they want to get done on it. We had our own questions about that, did we not? So that should come back to the Park Commission for review again before anything, you know. And possible realignment of changes to park, again, that comes to the same thing. Dog park update, nothing, because I've not heard anything from White Trim, and we can't go forward until we get that survey done by Eagle, for Eagle.
I do remember that in the last conversation when you were absent, the new commissioners had asked us how much money that, at the time I couldn't remember, but it was 65,000 total, not in phases. They were gonna do them in 3 phases, you know, because of our money, you know, we can't, but it was 65 total, 65,000. Did have one more person ask me once, they said, why don't you just move the fencing in front of the trees? Because that's where the dogs always go.
Actually, we were talking about putting up the temporary fence in front of
Really?
the trees.
And they said, and this is of course one of the dog people, you know, they said, you know, if you just move that fence in front of the trees, the dogs won't get wet, and then I'd be happy. And I just smiled, I said, okay,
Yeah, except
take
that
that
the-
into consideration.
I drove by it the other day after the heavy rains, and yes, the rest of the park does get, you can see literally like small lakes. When Deanna was telling us at one point that they've just been trying to fill it in where they saw like small lakes forming and so on, you can actually see how that has affected the drainage all through the park.
Right, she actually suggested that she could do that again in place of a professional doing it, and
No,
I disagree.
absolutely. That
Totally.
thing needs to be,
It needs a professional. And then it could actually, they could move that water off of there without causing any problems. I know they can. But
Well-
we are waiting on the survey.
we have to wait on
prove
the
it.
survey, and then we have to abide by, you know, Eagle's requirements with certain things. So we need to see that before we can go forward. But dividing the dog park into one for smaller and larger dogs, I've had that request.
Yeah, we've already talked about
we've
that,
covered
yeah,
that too, right?
yeah.
And the cost of the fencing was supposed to be 15,000, but then again, we've only seen it from one company. So there's further information that needs to come. Either that or we've got to start calling around. So, but anyway, back to Playscape stuff. Don brought in these lovely, wonderful picture books for us.
Thank you, John.
Welcome.
So I suggest you take these home. If you want to see a small one, Marine City put a small one down at their beach,
Yeah.
which looks like it's absolutely fairly new. And then down the road, or who knows how soon, if we can get a grant or two for a water
For a
splash pad or,
so.
you know, whatever. This has got some excellent examples in them.
So there's catalogs for both.
Yeah.
The form that came along with it said that there was price list included, but it's not. And I didn't go through the whole book to realize it until I was sitting here. So I'll get a price list and get it to you guys.
Yeah,
Sounds
that'll
okay.
take, but we'll need
But
to.
that's just one company.
Right.
And they, Pinchera, they make splash pads and they make playscapes. They're really good at it.
They install them too?
Yeah, they stopped doing it, but now they're doing it again. So it's, there were some other suggestions. I noticed, the original, Bill, was it you that sent that
Yeah.
email, with regards to the people that put the original
Oh, yes. Thank
playscape
you.
up there?
Oh,
Yeah.
So, and they're still in business.
okay.
So, I mean, this is just for ideas. I thought maybe, you know, but they're solid. I've been talking with these guys since 2022, I think. So, they're interested. That once once you guys have an idea and we get some prices up and we can start putting something together, then I'll have them out here to, their sales rep out here to give us a demonstration or
So
promotion.
what do we think we need? Are we going to be thinking we're gonna replace the whole thing, or we're going to?
Oh, it sounded
needs
like,
to be- it
it
needs to be
sounded like we
replaced.
were a good 15 years past
Yes.
its life.
Yeah.
So,
It
yeah.
needs to be completely removed, replaced with something.
Yeah, so are we gonna do all steel and metal, or are we gonna use some composite stuff? You know, like, I call it Trex, but, you know, so that's probably what, gotta have something for those kids to climb on, though.
Yeah.
Besides a train.
Right,
I think the train's the best part, but, you know.
yes, yes.
Will be
So
someday.
when you look at these, you can see various sizes and shapes and forms, instead of being one large playscape. We could be putting
Yeah.
multiple. So,
Right, we discussed phasing. Phasing is more expensive, obviously, every time you have to, because you got setup time and all the things that go along with that, so just, phasing is more expensive. If we get it all done at one time, it's a little bit cheaper.
well, the Board of Trustees is willing to donate admirably to the parks.
Yeah,
Especially if we're part of the mission as well as the
vision.
vision.
will say.
Everything.
I did bring up at the last, I did bring up at the last Board of Trustees meeting on Monday, I brought up about, basically it's on life support.
Right.
And
Yes.
just kind of giving them an idea, like, we might be asking for more money at some point. But it probably, I don't know about this year, but maybe next year. I don't know.
Well, maybe this year, because if we can get it taken down and maybe get us at least one piece. I mean, some of these you can go as low as 5 to 7,500. That would maybe fall within our budget, depending on how things are being spent.
And I don't know if potentially there might be grants out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
potentially, so that
And
would,
that's-
that would push it out a little bit longer, probably be next year at that point, but
Well,
don't
it
know.
doesn't mean, it depends on the cost of demolition
correct.
and/or taking the things away and/or getting somebody to, wonderfully accept them. It's possible within, again, our own little budget, I emphasize little, that we might be able to put one or two small pieces in.
Right,
Right.
But again, we need to get an idea of what it's gonna cost us to get this thing taken down.
I think the biggest thing on the Board of Trustees side, including myself, we want to see a price tag. So I mean, if you throw a price tag in front of us, even with the baseball fields, all that stuff, like, then at that point, we can kind of go, okay, now we know what we're working with, and then we can look at our budget. We have a very high fund balance, but it's like, we don't want to just commit to something without knowing what the cost is, what it's for.
Of course.
2
So-
years ago, before demo of the existing, a structure similar in size, similar, but a modern one from this company was about $250,000. It's about 250,000. 200 plus.
All right, which is more than your entire yearly budget, is it?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we need grants.
Right,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
and support.
yeah.
But here's the other question, do we want another structure that big? Or do we want several smaller structures with variations?
Well, variations would definitely should be considered, considering different age groups that we have. So it caters to, the young, the toddlers, as well as the middle age groups as well. Just hits up all ages. So,
Well, I think if we review the books, we can get better ideas about, the
Yeah.
potentials of those different
so
things.
do you want us to have our favorites by the next meeting?
Well, that would be helpful,
All
but then
right, well,
again, we have to again,
make it real simple.
okay.
I can tell you which ones I'd want by next month,
okay?
and why.
How about you, Bill?
That would be fine.
Okay. Don,
Sure.
will that be okay with you?
Yes, yes.
So we're going to review these books and Everybody's going to get their ideas about what they want to have to replace the
I want a
playscape.
train.
I'll work on those
You can
price
tell
lists
who's
as well.
going in
Yeah,
behind that.
okay. So anybody got any announcements or member comments that we already haven't displayed royally? Anybody? Bill?
No, I'm all set,
Evelyn?
thank you.
Don?
Amen.
So any other items? I think we've got that covered. So I adjourn this meeting at 8:06 PM.